Welcome to Veteran Resource Podcast, where you will meet nonprofit organizations focused on improving the lives of veterans and their family members. Here is your host, Jeremy Paris.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 28 of the Veteran Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Paris, and on today's episode, we have Aaron Ojard from Veteran Golfers Association. This is a really cool organization that is pretty new, and it's already off to an incredible start, as you're going to hear about during the interview. Aaron talks about how he's helping veterans with golf through this organization and how veterans all across the country can participate. So I really think you're going to enjoy this one here. Now, before we get into the episode, I'm going to read off a couple of the reviews that came in. We're up to 113 reviews now. Not bad, not bad. We could use some more. Want to do a really big push to try to get some more ratings and reviews on iTunes so that we don't start slipping down in the search results when people are searching for veteran podcasts. So if you haven't yet, please go to veteranpodcast.com/iTunes. That'll take you right into iTunes where you can leave a rating and review, and you can also go through and listen to any of the episodes that have already been put out there. Okay, so the first review is from Mario B, who says, "Thumbs up. Love the mission behind this podcast. Jeremy has done a great job finding amazing guests that are very open to share their experiences and expertise to serve our veterans. Thanks so much for putting this show together. Keep it up." And Aquapotus says, "A unique and important podcast. Jeremy Paris has created an extremely unique and important podcast in a much-needed niche. So many veterans could use the resources presented here. Jeremy continues to serve his comrades in great ways through this valuable content and information." And Love Road says, "Great resources. This show is an incredible service for veterans." Thank you so much for these. And if you haven't, like I said, please go over and leave a review, and we'll hear yours in the future. Aaron Ojard served 20 years in the U.S. Navy. He served 12 years as a Machinist Mate and the last 8 years as a critical care nurse. Aaron deployed to Afghanistan in 2009 and was injured, and he was also featured in the June 2014 issue of Sports Illustrated Golf Plus. Last year, Josh Peyton dreamed up and started the Veteran Golfers Association as a platform to get affordable, competitive golf available to all veterans. The Veteran Golfers Association is committed to promoting the game of golf to veterans and their family members. The VGA develops programs that allow the members to compete, socialize, and remain physically active through the game of golf. All right, let's jump right into the interview with Aaron. Aaron, welcome to the Veteran Resource Podcast. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Thanks for having me on.
Very glad to have you on. Before we get started, I kind of wanted to have you just give a very quick, brief description of what the organization is all about.
So the Veteran Golfers Association, it's a 501c3 nonprofit that me and a few other guys started to make competitive golf affordable and available to veterans, both wounded and non-wounded veterans of the United States Armed Forces.
Very cool. We're going to talk a little bit about you now before we get into all of the nitty-gritty with the Veteran Golfers Association. So this is your time to shine, Aaron.
Sure. All right, I'll try to glow.
So you grew up golfing or no?
Actually, I never swung a golf club until I joined the Navy.
Oh, wow.
Played football growing up, basketball. Grew up in northern Minnesota, so the golf season there is only about 4.5, 5 days long because of the weather. So it's golf wasn't a big sport, growing up. It was football and never swung a club until after I joined the Navy.
And despite your tiny size, you tried out for football, huh?
Yeah, well, at 6'5" and 256 pounds at my senior year, I was, one of the smallest guys on the, out there. No, it's football and golf was for kind of like Happy Gilmore, guys with big backsides and funny clothes. But no, it's this is the as I like to say, golfing is the drug of choice for me. So
nice. Did you have a military background growing up? Like any family members in the military or friends or anything like that?
Not really. Older brother joined the Coast Guard, but he was about 10 years older than me. So I took a year after high school and joined the Navy. Said I had never seen anything other than Minnesota, a little bit of Wisconsin, and Fargo, North Dakota, and said I want to see the world. So I figured, well, the Navy, travels the world, and so you get to see it. And then I realized that 75% of the world is water. But no, it was. I joined up and enlisted as a machinist mate and served on board an aircraft carrier, the John C. Stennis. Traveled around the world, literally went around the world, and then did some recruiting duty and made E6 as a machinist mate. And then my last 8 years, I took a commission as a nurse. So, kind of a little bit of a change of pace. People say, how can you go from being a mechanic to a nurse? And I always say, well, I look at, a human like it's a machine. You got a pump, bellows, you got a trash compactor, you got, chemistry to keep things in balance, and then you got a supercomputer running it all. It's pretty basic.
Pretty similar.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the exact same thing. Completely different, though. So,
right.
But,
and you deployed while you were in too, didn't you?
I did in 2009, from April to the end of October. Deployed to, Afghanistan as a critical care and a trauma nurse. So I was stationed actually at the NATO Role 3 hospital in Kandahar. 7 months of good times. Got a suntan, built some sandcastles, met some exotic people. But no, it was there was a huge push during that time, massive push, routing out Taliban in the southern part of Afghanistan. And it was a very busy time for the soldiers, and it was a very busy time for me as a trauma nurse. So
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so then, once you got out, what did you do then?
After I deployed, I finished up my time in the Navy and did my 20 years, and then I had 2 months and 2 days of extra credit. And I just retired fully in June of this year. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I know the beard makes it look like I retired much, a long time ago, but no, it's been just a new graduate.
Interesting. So, that kind of leads to talking about the organization here. The organization is pretty young, isn't it?
We just started the VGA. We got our paperwork together and got our 501 standing just last fall. And since then, me, Josh, and the rest of our board members have been beating the streets and raising a lot of money to promote what we did this year. And that was, we've held 8 regional qualifiers across the United States. The, initial premise of it was 8 regional qualifiers with full field, 144 players. And we would have 10 from each qualifier going down to Pinehurst over the Veterans Day week, November 8th through the 11th. We didn't make the 1,200 competitors trying out, but we are making the 80 golfers going to Pinehurst. We're taking the top 10 golfers from each site, all expense paid trip for the veteran golfer. to play a national championship. It's going to be a 2-day, 36-hole event at Pinehurst, North Carolina. We're playing Pinehurst number 5 on day 1, and then Pinehurst number 2, which is for golfers, that's kind of hallowed ground. More national championships and major tournaments have been played on that course than I think the only course that's had more is Augusta National. So
wow. How were you able to get such a quick start? I mean, I've seen a lot of organizations that have been around for quite a long time, and looking at the website and everything that you're doing, it seems like if somebody told me that you were around for 10 years, I'd definitely believe it.
You know, it's the military work ethic. You know, we push hard, we can make the mission. You know, it's all about mission accomplishment, and you know, we set goals for us for this year, and haven't taken the foot off the gas pedal to make those goals. Josh Peyton, who's our president of the VGA, retired back in January. He's been working full time and then some to get things rolling on his end, to help the VGA out, making contacts. And, you know, since before I've retired, I've been doing a little bit of leg work. And now that I've retired, I've picking up a whole lot more leg work to make things happen. And, yeah, we've met some great people over the years through contacts and golfing. You know, you say if you ever want to make a good business deal, get out on the golf course with who you want to do it with. You can learn a lot about that person. But we've made some great contacts, you know, some great people, some, you know, great Americans that, you know, want to reach out and help out the veteran community. And, you know, just full speed ahead.
Yeah, it's all about making those connections. And that's how we met, as a matter of fact, out on the golf course, kind of, during the Music for More golf tournament, or Music for Vets golf tournament. And
yeah, it was a great day.
Unfortunately, it rained a little bit.
Well, you were dry.
That's true. I can't complain at all. It was an amazing event, great concert, great food, and
absolutely.
The people were the best part of it.
Yeah, it was. That was a great time. Met a lot of really interesting people that day, and I'm not much of a music guy myself. You know, I whatever's on the radio I listen to, but the bands that were there were amazing. And then they started playing a toolbox for a percussion in the one band.
Right.
You know, just wild. But wow, the talent that was there to support veterans was great.
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah. So a great organization too. They were very interesting, and the one of the ladies that was there pointed me in your direction and said, you know, you really need to talk to that guy over there. And so
Deidre and I are good friends.
Yep.
We've worked together a lot over the past few years, me with the Veteran Artist Program, and we would end up sharing a booth together at Artscape and helping each other out, running the booth.
Great lady. And what a great organization, you know, for them to put that kind of a tournament on, and, you know, using music to promote, you know, support for the veteran community. That was excellent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Excellent time.
So jumping back into your organization, what kind of events do you have coming up?
So coming up, November 8th through the 11th is our national qualifier. So we've got a final sprint to get things lined up for that. November 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Obviously, it's 8th through the 11th. 8th, everybody's kind of getting into town down at Pinehurst, and we're going to do some practice rounds. And Monday, we're going to have a sponsor pro vet tournament, linking up a lot of the sponsors that are there, going to be there, and with a veteran. And I'm actually reaching out to try to get some professional golfers into town for it.
Oh, nice.
Through my contacts, through various blessings in my life, I've met some pretty interesting people, professional golfers, and trying to link up with some of them to get them into town to support the VGA. We've got LPGA star Nicole Castrali. She's supportive of the VGA. Her brother was a veteran, was wounded in action. So there's, across the board, there's a lot of people out there that, appreciate the freedoms that they have and want to give back to veterans in ways that they can. So, Monday we're going to have that tournament. And then Tuesday's day one of our national championship on Pinehurst number 5. So 18 holes that day. Colt Ford is going to be doing a concert for us. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's the rapping country artist.
Oh, cool.
So he's putting on a concert for us, and then the national championship on Veterans Day, and we crown a champion. We've got an amazing trophy, great prizes, and going to be a bunch of professional-looking golfers out there shooting anywhere from the 60s to the 120s.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That was a question I was going to ask a little bit later. That I didn't realize that it was for more than just the elite golfers. Yeah,
it's for all golfers, all veteran golfers. If you got a set of clubs in the garage, dust them off and start hitting some balls on the range, because we have many different flights. So we have the elite crew, the A flight. We've got guys that in qualifiers have shot in the low to mid 70s. One hot shooting gunner right now, Garrett Garland, shot a 69, which, if I'm not mistaken, he shot his age.
Wow.
So he shot a 69 at his qualifier. So we got guys that, are winning flights shooting an 86. They're winning flights shooting a 100. So it's competitive golf for anybody that's got a set of clubs. We're going to match you up with people who are of your like abilities. Plus, we have 2 different flights. So we have the wounded veteran flight and we have the veteran flight. So combat wounded veteran flight is for the combat altered veterans, of any era. We've got World War II veterans, 93 years old, that are playing, and we've got Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, all the way up to post 9/11. So
That's great. Do you work with any other organizations that help out with the wounded golfers?
I going through one organization in particular, the Salute Military Golf Association, which is a nonprofit that focuses on the post 9/11 combat altered veteran. What they do is they teach us golf as a rehab tool. So,
oh, great.
I played golf before I deployed. Was injured in Afghanistan, and after coming back, I couldn't swing a stick for the life of me. I got to where I couldn't break 120. So going through the program, this SMGA, Salute Military Golf Association, taught me how to swing around my pain, swing around my injuries, and start to hit the ball again. And, worked from a, near 30 handicap down. Right now, my index is 11.9. So
very nice.
And it's phenomenal organization. Another one was Tee It Up for the Troops, nonprofit out of Minnesota. They use golf to raise money, and they provide scholarship opportunities, grants for veterans, and their family members. So they got a great program too. So those are two of the main organizations that I've kind of used personally. But through the SMGA, actually, I met Josh Peyton, who's our president. We were both graduates of that program. Actually met while playing in a Pro-Am tournament for the Web.com tour at TPC Potomac here in the DC area. We hit it off and, started golfing together, kept in contact, became good friends, golfed together and see who was going to be buying hot dogs at the end of the round. And then we got together. I was down in Pinehurst for a magazine article, and me and Josh started talking that evening at the Carolina Resort and talking about, we need to make something for competitive golf for us. There's different things out there, but it's not affordable. They got different amateur tours that are available, but they're expensive.
Oh yeah.
And, it's $150, $200 to just join the ability to play in tournaments. And then you have to pay to play in each tournament of, $100 to $200 to play in each tournament. And, a lot of people don't have that to throw around. So we started off talking about just for the wounded veteran population, what could we do? And then kind of broadened our horizons and, talking over the phone over the next few months, and came up with this idea of the Veteran Golfers Association and how we can, have these regional qualifying tournaments and where it's not limited to, just wounded veterans or a select few wounded veterans. It's more fair. It's, hey, sign up. If you can make the roster in time for when the tournament's open, you're playing in the tournament. It's not going in front of a board of people saying, well, who's got the best story to get on the team, or,
right.
It's wide open for you, if you're fast with the computer, and, can get signed up within 6 or 7 months after the tournament opens, you're going to play in the tournament. So, it's, yeah.
And is this open different places all over the country?
Yep. So this year we had, like I said, we had 8 regional qualifiers. We had one in Florida, North Carolina, DC. We had up in Connecticut, Wisconsin, Texas, and Washington State.
Nice.
So next year, our plan is, setting goals for ourselves. So we did the 8 regional qualifiers. Next year, we're going to do 5 state tournaments, 5 tournaments in each state with a state championship. And then the state champions in the various flights are going to be going to a super regional qualifier. And we're going to have 4 of those around the U.S. And it's looking like right now we're going to do one in D.C., one's going to be around Pinehurst, Texas, and we don't have the West Coast locked down yet for the super regional qualifier. But so it's going to be a lot more golf, a lot more places for people to golf, and working in each state to get on courses that most people don't normally get to play on. We're reaching out with a lot of the private clubs in the various states, and, getting a lot of great feedback from the clubs and the memberships saying, you know what, yeah, bring some veterans out on our course. That's awesome.
That's great.
Wow. So next year, and then we're going to have a national championship, and the national championship, we don't have it absolutely locked down right now, but it's looking like it's going to be at Shadow Creek, one of the MGM courses in the MGM Las Vegas. So it's their big course out there, which it's a bucket list course to play in your life. So
Wow. That's
so
pretty aggressive. You got a lot going on next year for sure.
well, we made it happen this year with just a few people that we've had working with us this year, and as the word is spreading, more people are saying, "Hey, you know what? Let me give you some of my time to help out." And it's a lot of veterans are helping out, so it's not like we're trying to wrangle cats. We're like-minded individuals who speak the same language, and you say, "Make this happen," and that's what we do.
All right, Aaron. So you mentioned that this is low cost. So there are fees involved for people getting into it, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. To become a member of the VGA, if you go to the website, you can enroll as a member. It's a $40 annual fee. What that gives you is a year subscription to one of the premier golf magazines. It gives you a official handicap tracker, so you can track and establish an official handicap. Gets you access to our tournaments, which the tournaments this year were $35
Wow.
for a $40 annual membership, and $35 you had a chance to play Anderson Creek Country Club in Pinehurst, North Carolina, one of the TPC courses down in Florida, some the Mohegan Sun Golf Club up in Connecticut. Some courses that are going to cost you, three figures to get on and to play a round of golf. We were playing for $35.
Absolutely incredible.
So it's, we've talked about making this as affordable as we can. Not saying that next year all the tournaments are going to be $35, but they're going to be, at a much reduced rate from what the golf courses normally charge. And we've had some courses that have said, you know what, hey, we'll give you the time of the course. So basically it's being able to get out and play free. We've got a handful of courses that have already stepped up and said, hey, we want to support you. The military base courses are going to be having chapters there at the military base courses across the U.S., for having various tournaments and getting more veterans involved, which is great.
Yeah.
And for non-veterans, if they want to get involved, family members of veterans, not that going to be necessarily competing in the golf tournaments, but volunteering for the golf tournaments, or if someone wants to donate to the cause, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the website.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Aaron, before we get into the final three questions, I wanted to touch on, there was a story where you were actually in Sports Illustrated magazine.
That is correct.
I think the listeners would absolutely love to hear the story of how that came to be.
In the fall of 2013, Sports Illustrated ran a contest of who your dream foursome would be. And a golf writer named Tom Coyne, he's writes a lot of golf articles for various magazines and Sports Illustrated. He's actually written 3 books, and he's working on his 4th. He's written Paper Tiger, A Gentleman's Game, which was made into a movie starring Gary Sinise, A Course Called Ireland, where he walked around the entire island of Ireland and played every golf course that's on the shore of the island. Walking the whole way, by the way. I think I said that already, but I'll say it again. Walking. Yeah. And he became kind of a big deal out in Ireland because of this. And this last spring, he just actually did his next venture, which was the background for a book called A Course Called The Kingdom, where he went to the UK to play over 100 golf courses in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, Scotland, and in just over a 2-month period, played over 100 golf courses again. So, and he's working on the book right now. But so Tom put out this deal of, who's your dream foursome and why? And, hoping to make this really flashy, get Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and, Bishop Tutu or someone to play golf together with this everyday Joe. And I'd already had the opportunity to meet and hit balls with Jack Nicklaus, and I'd met a lot of other professional golfers in various opportunities, and I said, you know what, I don't have the ability to really grab some guys that really mean a lot to me, and so I just said, I'll take 3 guys that I credit with saving my life in various ways. So I wrote up a little 300-word essay. I said, like, take a guy named James Danaher. He's a nurse that taught me how to be a nurse, taught me how to deal with difficulty of being a critical care nurse. And then he really helped me a lot after I went through a really ugly divorce after I came back from Afghanistan. Jim Estes. He's the co-founder of the Salute Military Golf Association and former tour pro. Taught me how to use a game to, feel better about myself. So I'm not, sitting in the house watching TV. Get me outside and get me playing a game that I used to love to play. And then this crazy Canadian. He's a French Canadian named Marc Dauphin, who was the commanding officer of the hospital that I was stationed at over in Afghanistan. Mark really, really helped me a lot throughout my deployment and through some tough stuff over there in Afghanistan. And, in various ways, I credit them with saving my life, physically and, from taking it.
Right.
So I heard nothing back from it. And, I was getting married New Year's Eve that year, and at the wedding, this goofy-looking redheaded guy with a bow tie came walking up after the toasts and took the microphone away from my wife and started talking, saying that it's the first wedding he's been to where he didn't know anybody there. And so my instinct was, well, this is a crasher, and my fist clenched, and and my wife kind of held my arm a little bit, and then he said, I'm Tom Coyne. I'm a golf author for Sports Illustrated. And I almost fell to the ground.
You knew right there, huh?
I knew right there. And then, so he announced that I won. And, me and Tom started talking over the next few months leading up to going to Pinehurst. He brought me and my foursome and our families down, and we played Pinehurst number 2. Pinehurst Resort was very generous with the accommodations, and so he wrote a 7-page article for Sports Illustrated. It was featured in the Golf Plus issue of Sports Illustrated in the June of 2014, the U.S. Open preview. We were supposed to have the cover, except they decided that this professional golfer named Phil Mickelson might sell more magazines. I don't know. Personally, I think my face on the cover would have sold a lot more magazines, but hey, you know what?
I think so too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So, but the first time I read it, when I read the first edit that Tom sent out to me and the rest of the guys, I read it and started bawling, and I walked upstairs and read it to my wife, and I couldn't finish reading it to her. Just the way he captured the whole story, but it really used my voice.
Yeah.
I mean, he really wrote using my voice, how I talk, how I, kind of jump around in my head, my stream of thought is, zigzags pretty sharply, but how he captured that, and it's a phenomenal article by a great author about a Navy nurse that spent some time in a hot place, and we saved a Saved a lot of lives.
Yeah.
Had a 97% success rate if you came through our trauma bay doors. If you came through with a heartbeat, we were getting you home. And that's never been accomplished before, and good luck if it's going to be accomplished again.
Amazing.
So,
and for the listeners out there, you're definitely going to want to read this article. So I'm going to put a link to the Sports Illustrated article in the show notes, as well as all of the other links for getting to the website and Facebook and Twitter and things like that.
Excellent.
So, Aaron, are you ready for the final three?
Let's go. Big three.
All right. Who would you like to hear on a future episode of the Veteran Resource Podcast?
A great nonprofit that I just learned about in August called Till Duty is Done. Started by a West Point graduate, and what he's doing is he's establishing basically living quarters for veterans to get out and get working and have a place to stay. So they have a roof over their heads. They have someone there to help them with, job applications. They have someone there to help them with, employment opportunities and how to be a better employee. Transitioning from military to civilian, it's a tough transition.
Yeah.
Unless you come out of the military and just take off your uniform, put on regular clothes, and do the exact same job that you did, it's not an easy transition for veterans to make. And what he's doing, this nonprofit is doing, is it's trying to make that transition a lot easier on the veteran. And he's got the president and they started the success stories that they have will absolutely blow your mind. So I'd love to hear you talk to that organization. Yeah,
I'm definitely going to reach out to them. And that's one of the reasons that I added this question into my final three questions was that, just like the listeners, I myself don't always, I've never heard of this organization before. Mm-hmm. And this is one of thousands of organizations that are out there helping veterans that I haven't heard of before.
Yeah.
And so, just word of mouth, people talking about different organizations and what they're doing, that's how I find out about who it is that I could get on the show and then get that information out to more and more veterans who are listening.
Yep.
So, appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, Aaron, question number 2. What upcoming project has you fired up right now?
Upcoming project that has me fired up. On a personal level, I'm building a table with some reclaimed barnwood, but for the VGA...
that is pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's beating my hands up pretty bad. A lot of splinters. But with the VGA, we are working with getting some veteran golfers down to Augusta National for the Masters this coming year. And the other thing is around the 4th of July next summer, we're going to be doing a big golf tournament. Going to try to do at least one in each state. And it's in support and to make more people aware of we're losing 22 veterans a day from suicide.
Yeah.
So as veterans, I know you can look back in your career and I can look back in mine and say, boy, these various friends and acquaintances are, looking at the brown side of the grass instead of the green side because they took their own life. Mm-hmm. So making that, raising the awareness and, raising some money to give back to some organizations that are helping veterans. So those are the two, I got to give 2 out there. So, well, I guess 3, including my table. So, but those are the big things that are really coming up that I'm just stoked about.
Excellent. All right. This is the brain stretcher question here, Aaron. If you woke up tomorrow and you found out that somebody made an anonymous donation of $10 million to your organization, what would you do with it?
Create a whole lot more tournaments for veterans.
Nice.
Get the word out there. Get a lot more veterans involved in the sport of golf for a lot of reasons. One, getting us out of the house. Some veterans tend to want to isolate. You hear a lot of veterans say, well, I just want to get some property and, have trees all around it, and I can sit out there with my, by myself. And, to get that esprit de corps again, get a bunch of veterans out, talking, having fun. I look at it every time I get on the golf course with a fellow veteran. I got 3.5 to 4 hours of uninterrupted therapy.
Absolutely.
Giving therapy and giving, having therapy, getting out and being able to talk, what's going on in your life, what's going on in my life, what do you need help with, what do I need help with, and figuring things out, what's haunting you, what's not, what bothers you, and, being able to talk things through. I know personally, with my nightmares and memories and, suffering from PTSD from Afghanistan, being able to talk things through with someone that understands, someone that's been there and seen what I've seen, I seem to get a whole lot further in understanding and processing, what's going on, being out there with another veteran. And, I think using the game of golf, getting people, type A personality military members who were competitive in many various ways in their life, getting them competitive again, can give you that spark to say, well, you know what? I want to live another day because I want to reduce my handicap.
Right.
I want to live another day because I have friends that I'm, getting out with again. I'm got brothers in arms that rely on me again. So, it's a lot of fun. It's competition, and I think it saves a life.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense, Aaron, because you've got, both sides of the coin there. You've got the serenity of golf. Anytime that I'm out there golfing, I mean, it is just so peaceful. But at the same time, you also have that group of friends that are with you that you can talk to. So it's the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
Listeners, you've just heard what Aaron could do with $10 million. So for that person out there with $10 million and trying to figure out a great place for it to go to, Aaron, how can this person find you?
VGAgolf.org. You can click on, there's a donation link at the bottom of the homepage. You can find out all the information you want about the organization on the website. If you want to email me personally, my email is Aaron, AARON, at VGAgolf.org. Hit me up, hit the website up, get a hold of us, become a member. Let's play some golf. Tee it up.
Outstanding. I might have to get out there and play a couple rounds with you. I might be buying a bunch of hot dogs, but, what can you do?
We'll play to, establish a handicap. We'll play to a handicap, make it even.
Nice. I think I might have to take you up on that.
Excellent. I look forward to it.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Aaron.
Thanks for having me.
There's a sign on the VGA website. It says 2015 VGA National Championships. 1,200 veterans will compete. Only 80 will advance to Pinehurst, North Carolina. That's pretty exciting and pretty amazing that they've got 1,200 veterans that are competing in the organization being this new. Really cool what they're doing there. And you heard about how big this is going to blow up to be next year. So if you are into golf, or even if you're not an elite player or anything like that, maybe like me, then you can still get out there, have a great time. It's really inexpensive to sign up. I mean, $40 for an annual membership. I thought $40 a month was going to be somewhere about what they were talking about, but $40 for an annual membership, and then super cheap to play these tournaments. You can't go wrong there. Get out there in the serenity, surround yourself with other people that you can talk to and relate to, and just have an incredible time. So there were some links that were thrown out during the episode. We talked about the Sports Illustrated article. We've got the website, Facebook, Twitter, and Aaron gave his email address also. So I'm going to make sure that I have links to all of those in the show notes, which you could find at veteranpodcast.com/028. Make sure you go there and check it out. And also, while you're there at the website, veteranpodcast.com, you can subscribe to the newsletter. I haven't really posted out any messages or anything like that, so you're not going to get spammed for sure. But in the near future, I'm going to be using that to inform people of some really cool stuff that is coming up. You're going to want to hear about it. So it's really quick. You just plug in your email address and bam, you're on the list. Can't go wrong. And if you just got caught up with all of the episodes of the Veteran Resource Podcast, I invite you to go and check out BR's podcast, vappodcast.com. That's VAP podcast.com. For the Veteran Artist Program, another one that I think you're really going to enjoy. All right, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I know you enjoyed it, and we're going to see you in episode 29.